Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave, Craig, and Papa Stu. How you guys? How you all doing? It seems like normality's even a bit closer. Like say some of the news today, which is quite exciting. But even Dave, you're back to work. So where are you hurting physically? Your feet. So because you've been standing on your feet all day. So what you're telling me is that Adidas shoes do not provide good enough support, and we should go to Nike. Yeah. Good. Craig, how you getting on? How'd you find it? Me and Stuart have been through that. That's how it starts, Stuart, eh? Those bits go first, and then it's the... Oh, no sound. Fuck.
4 weeks, so it's alright.
Apparently, can't hear you guys, so apologies for some technical issues. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me check. Aye. Oh, they can hear me, but they can't hear you. Aye. Right. Why is that not working? That always works, that bit. Yep, we're bang on time, and it's kind of punished us.
All they need is you.
Speak now.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can
Right,
you hear me now?
I think we should get a thumbs up from everybody there now. It'll be 20 seconds behind, but yeah. Apologies for the technical issues, everybody that's watching. Thank you for joining us, and you've missed me slagging Dave. You can hear that in the podcast audio. We'll kind of... well, still got that all recorded for the podcast.
All they need is you.
Yeah,
Hello,
you're
can you
true.
hear me
All
now?
they do.
Gav, I've got the Twitch up. I can hear
Good.
all yours now.
Yeah, I can see somebody there saying that they can hear us. Brilliant. Apologies about that. Technical issues. That's what we get for being on time for a change. So yes. I'll do it again. Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk. Joined by Dave, Craig, and Stuart. And today, obviously, we're going to be going through the Rangers game. We're going to have a wee chat about Aberdeen. Obviously, they're getting a bit closer. Goals from midfield. We heard from Jack Ross his views on Magennis' first season, and adding goals to the midfield from the midfield. And then obviously we'll finish up talking about Stranraer as well. So yeah, let's get started with the Rangers game. Dave, a kind of quiet first 15 to 20 minutes.
It was, and it was a wee bit frustrating, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It did feel very much like Rangers weren't that bothered in the first 20 minutes, because they weren't exactly like peppering us until like about a minute before they scored. They weren't really doing much either, but in the same sense, neither were we. So it was a bit annoying. We just kind of were sitting quite deep and not really taking the game to them.
Yeah. Craig. The first sort of warning sign came. It was a goal from Roof, thankfully judged as offside. Like I say, it was a good ball in from Berisic that kind of led to the goal. And like I say, we've seen Berisic sort of play his part in the goal when it did come. A warning sign that Hibs maybe didn't sort of pay enough attention to.
We were definitely slow at the traps in the first 15-20 minutes. We had this sort of discussion the last time about how we let, we sort of stand off Rangers for the first period of the game to see how the game's going to lie, and that works when the stadium's full and you want to get 50,000 fans restless. It doesn't work when the stadium's empty. As you can see for the remainder of that half, we wouldn't have been 1-0 down if we'd started the game how we finished that half anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it was frustrating that the goal, for me, I think the goal's avoidable. It's just lack of concentration when the ball comes into the box that lets Aribo eventually get it. I think does he not win it back?
Yeah, it was. I've got a bit of notes here. So, like say, Rangers kind of continued to create. It was Barisic with the cross, Roof with the header. Good save from Marciano. It kind of gets cleared and comes to Aribo that picks it up again, plays it out to the right. Is it Patterson? Is that his name? Kind of cuts along, gets it back to Roof, who kind of hits it into the box. It takes a massive deflection, falls to Aribo, hit on the volley. A good volley from Aribo, Craig. But as you're saying, Hibs need to do more.
Just need to try and get the ball cleared at the first opportunity. I think for that initial header, I'm not sure if Marciano actually palms it back into play.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might, and I think he could maybe be doing a bit better with that.
And there was a couple of players turned their back on Rebo's shot as well. Rather than doing always maintain it. There was like McGregor or McPake going back years, he used to put his body on the line. But there's not enough centre halves or defenders nowadays putting their body on the line. They just turned their back, and it was quite a poor goal to lose. But it was coming, as Craig was saying. We sat off them, and Dave said at the start, first 20 minutes. It is disappointing when you go to Ibrox, and Dave said it last week, we had a free hit, and we should have just said, well, let's go out there like a cup tie, and let's try and get something out of the game. But we start too late.
Yeah. Whiter57 saying Marciano has to do better there. So he's sort of agreeing with you, Craig, there. Like I say, off the back of that, Hibs kind of started to get more into the game towards like the 30-minute mark. Nisbet with the probably the best chance of the half. It was Newell slipped it through to the newly Scotland cap man, and from about 20 yards out, he hits it and it goes just past the top corner. Stuart, do you feel that he should have taken it in more, or do you think he was right to take the shot on?
It's very difficult. I think he should have shot when he did, because he was getting closed down coming across him. So there's a possible chance he could have got edged. Maybe if he took it on a wee bit further, edged to the right, maybe have cut his chances of shooting. But listen, it was good enough shot. He got McGregor scrambling. If it was on target, what I remember, I think there's a possible chance it could have been nestling in the side of the net before McGregor got there. So, I think he was right in taking a shot.
Dave, I will come back to you. I know you've not spoken about it, but I want to come to Craig on this one.
Just leave me. I'm
Craig,
tired.
you sort of we're doing a Discord live watching along together, and you mentioned the space between the left centre back and the left back, and like I say, it was that space that was kind of utilised for the Nisbet chance, and then again for the chance we're just about talking a minute. But yeah, like I say, that space was a real opportunity to get him behind.
I certainly felt that's where we were going to get the most joy out of the game. Like when we were watching it, you could see that even though it didn't seem that apparent, there was a lot of space in between. I think it was Hallender that was playing left centre half, and then obviously Barisic at left back. There was a lot of, because they started to play quite a high line, and then there was I think was it Boyle and then Doidge, sort of one after the other, were caught offside. And I said at the time, I was like, if we're going to score today, the ball's going to come for that area. And obviously there was the bit where Boyle gets through, and obviously got booked for diving. Nisbet shot. I think there was another couple of driving Boyle runs.
Yeah,
in that area as well, where he didn't really commit Barisic and take Barisic on.
Yeah,
like one-on-one, like facing him up. It was more he just ghosted into that space and utilised it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of frustration that we didn't make the most, because I think we were in a good maybe 4 or 5 times, I think.
I mean, there was the best one out of those that you sort of mentioned was definitely Jackson Irvine played it into that sort of space we're talking about. So at the 40th minute, Boyle picks it up, probably goes a bit more central than I would like him to, and then he takes a shot. It goes low and wide. It gets judged to be saved for a corner. I think that was nonsense. I hate to agree with Alan McGregor, but he sort of was protesting the fact a corner was given. But yeah, I mean, Dave, do you feel that Boyle kind of runs into space, and should he slip through Nisbet?
With that one, I definitely. It was on every day of the week. And I think Nisbet was visibly quite annoyed that he didn't. But it was decent. Like after that first goal, it's like what Craig's saying, that we had a lot of driving runs, a lot of chances, and that, and then so it felt like the first half ended pretty encouraging. So I was quite happy with that after they scored.
Yeah, Papa, still got a good end to the first half, although we didn't find our way through.
Yeah, it was encouraging. But I keep on going back to why we don't start like that. It's just infuriating. I don't know if it's the mindset or it's all the gaffers telling them that, well, as Craig said, give them the first 20 minutes, but there's no crowd. So get out there. We should have just went out there and hit them, because Rangers are good, but you know, if you attack them, they've still got to defend. They're like another 11 players that's in the league. Okay, better this season, but we've just got to go for them. I'd rather get beat 3-0, 3-1 than having a go at them, rather than standing off. The game could have been finished at half time because they had a couple of chances in that spell when they scored. The game could have been finished.
Yeah. But it was encouraging that we kept that going into the start of the second half. Oh no, we didn't. It kind of repeated the first half. A completely quiet first 15 minutes where we stand off Rangers. They kind of don't do much with it. And then, like I say, there was about 15 minutes into the second half. They kind of have a second good 5-minute spell and a score. Done it 2 times in the game, kind of carbon copy of the first half. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit too critical of Hibs there, but that 15 minutes just seemed to be like a good end to the first half. Let's keep that going. Oh no, wait, let's change the game plan and go back to what we're doing, and we find ourselves 1-0 down. I don't get it. I don't know whether that was an instruction or whether that was the players or whether Rangers changed something. I'm not clever enough to know if it was. I don't pay enough attention to Rangers. Anyway, into the second half, Kent picks it up. Takes about 6 touches with no pressure. 7th touch, he takes a shot. Great hit. Dave, do you think there's a chance that Rangers have spoke about it at half time and said, look, Hibs are standing off us, let's take advantage of that and have a couple of pops for distance?
Yeah, well, possibly. I think the way, because we were sitting so deep, it was probably quite hard for them to break through. And with them already having the 1-goal lead, they could afford to have a pop for distance. It wasn't as if they necessarily needed to break us down. So, yeah, I can quite imagine that's what they were told. And I think, whereas being as standoffish, it was pretty obvious that was a way for them to extend their lead. If they had added a bit of quality, obviously at the end of it, they wouldn't have popped from anywhere, which unfortunately they did.
Yeah, Craig, I mean, a great strike from Kent. I don't think we can be too harsh on Marciano with this one, but maybe be a bit critical of Gogic and Newell in terms of no closing down.
Yeah, I think especially with Kent, right? Kent is such a hard player to pick up because he's everywhere. 1 minute he's on the left, the next minute he's on the right. As you can see for the goal, he's probably as good on his left foot than he is the right. So he's going to be an absolute nightmare for defenders and midfielders to mark, pick up, and also try and anticipate what he's going to do. But I think from the Marciano perspective, and I've only picked this up because I was watching something earlier, and it was like a few goals that he's let in were in it. He always goes for the camera dive. You know, the camera save. He always goes for the spectacular. And I think that's what he's tried to do again, and only realised that he's too late to get it. I think if he moves his feet away, as soon as Kent goes past Newell, he should know what's coming. And I think he should set himself a bit better. Because there's only one place it's going to go, and that's bent into the far corner. Maybe I'm just being overly critical, but it's only, like I said, it's only because of what I've seen, what other video I watched earlier. But Gogic has to do better for me. He's in the team to be a spoiler, and he didn't do the spoiling.
Stuart,
See, if Macy was in goals, he would have saved it because he's 5 inches bigger. He'd have got a bigger stretch.
Still got to get down there though.
I think that was a hard one. Like, it's an absolute screamer. To be fair, for Kent, I think the mistake definitely is.
For Kenty, is it Kenty now? Is it?
Did I say Kenty? No, I didn't. I don't think I did.
Right, Gav, get that clipped.
I'll check that back and see what.
Anyway, I think definitely the mistake was coming from Gogic and Newell more so than Marciano personally. But
David,
I think it was a bit of lazy defending. Sorry, Gav.
No,
it was a bit of lazy defending, Dave. Getting away from Newell first of all, and then he got away from Gogic. Yeah. Now, you know, if he had got away from Newell, Gogic should have leathered him. Because they always say get them before they even get near that 18-yard box. You know, take a foul, get a foul take. You know, but Newell let him softly away from him, and so I was a wee bit annoyed at that. But the two of them should have done something between them.
Dave, I don't know if you wanted an opportunity to kind of respond. I know some of your Rangers mates saying that Rangers sort of hadn't they went into third gear, they kind of went into fourth gear in those two spells and scored their goals, but other than that, they were just.
We said this when we were watching the game, like the way they pop the ball about and their movement and that is like the improvement over the last like year is ridiculous.
Lost. Hello.
Different whether it be confidence or I don't know. So I think that they turned it on in a couple of spells that they really went up the gears. But apart from that, I probably agree with my Rangers mates. I don't think they needed to do that much, even though I thought we done all right. And ultimately, obviously, we'll come on to it, but we're robbed in the end. That's what it felt like. But I would, like Billy's saying in the chat the other now, like he disagrees with Stuart. Like we have to go and. Obviously, you don't want to lose 4 or 5, then it badly affects our goal difference, which we might need for third. But see if Hibs are going to just accept going to Ibrox and then we're getting to the point where we'll take a 1 or 2-0 defeat, then gee up. Like I'm not watching that.
I'll tell you what, I had a bit on my notes at the end, but we'll cut forward to this and come back to the goal and the rest of the play. I had a bit here about Rangers and sort of recent form against them. Let me find it on my notes. So the 3rd of February 2018 was the last time we beat Rangers. So that's over 3 years ago. And that was 6 weeks before Gerrard was appointed. It's been 11 games since then, and in the last 7 games, Rangers have won 6 and drawn 1. This is a kind of question for all you, Stuart. We'll start with yourself. Do we have to accept that the big results against Rangers are going to be a lot rarer to come by?
Yeah. However, we've got to change that, and it's what Dave says. If we're going to Ibrox and we just think, right, okay, let's keep the score down, you may as well shut the doors at Easter Road for me. You know, you've got to go there. It's not about going there and keeping the score down. It's go there and competing. Yeah, you've got to compete.
Ron Gordon's going on about how there won't ever be a lack of ambition at Hibs, right? So the first bit that we've got to be doing, I know we've took points of Rangers at Easter Road, and no many teams have took points of Rangers this season. Like we scored at Ibrox, I think they've conceded 3 at Ibrox in the league or something. Daft, I don't know, but. To me, like, if we're going to be ambitious in that, we can't be going to Ibrox being like, we'll take a low defeat here and we'll get out. Like, nah, no happening. We go to Ibrox and we use it as a free hit. Like, it's never nice when you do get absolutely hammered. Like, we got absolutely hammered when, obviously, Heckingbottom was in charge about 6-1. So, that still feels dead fresh. So it's never nice when that does happen, if they do just absolutely batter you. But at the same time, I don't enjoy watching like a battling Hibs performance, like folk getting flying in and being like we're here for a game, by the way. We're not here just to lie over.
See what it takes, Dave. Yeah. What it takes is, which, we love or hate him, Neil Lennon, he was going to Ibrox because he hates them, and he was wanting his team to play and beat them. And how many times was he winding up the crowd? He was doing this, he was doing that, and we got good results because we were battling.
I think it comes down to the characters in the team, and I've spoken about this before, that you go back to the Lennon team when we won at Ibrox. Was that the 2-1? Was that the Jamie McLaren penalty game?
It would
that
be
the last time we won. So we had what? And we even played with Lewis Stevenson at centre half that day. But we had McGinn, Bartley, McGeoch, Gray, Stevenson, players that would dig in. And I'm not for 1 minute saying players like Paul McGinn, Josh Doig, Joe Newell, Jackson Irvine don't dig in, but they don't have that, like, I don't know, they just didn't seem to have that bite about them when it comes to games like that. Like if there was an incident, if there was an incident and say players started surrounding the referee, I wouldn't look to many in that Hibs team that I could count on to have my back. If you can, that makes sense.
Do you not think that comes from the gaffer, Craig?
No, I think you need to have that already. You need to have that natural bite within you.
I understand what you are saying, but at the same time, even if we've got McGregor and Gray in their peak in this team, and you've got Lennon the sideline, this Rangers team has came on leaps and bounds over the last few years, and especially in the last season. And I think I hate to I know we're here to talk about Hibs and how Hibs approach it, but I think at the same time we've got to realise that Rangers have got so much further away from us. We had a really good spell where we're in the same division where they're competing with them in both the league and the cups, and obviously beat them in the cup. They're still win a cup, but I think in terms of where Rangers are now, I think maybe a bit more realism's got to be had. And but at the same time, I was screaming like an idiot, so annoyed that we're just standing off. Anyway, let's get back to him, because we're saying about standing off. We changed the approach. I think we sort of brought on Cadden and we went 4-3-3. I don't know, some sort of change anyway. We made the changes and it seemed to be a bit of an impact. Started to create a few more chances again. Nisbet had a free kick which was saved by McGregor and tipped over the bar. Really good hit. And the corner was taken and Hibs score. Ryan Porteous with the header, wins the first header, saved by McGregor, and then he gets it again and he heads it in. Game back on. Except, as somebody said in the chat, the referee was a member of the Orange Lodge, and it gets disallowed because a 6'3" Hallender fell over. Stuart, your thoughts to the goal?
Absolutely shocking. I couldn't believe, we were all in the chat watching the game, and I actually think that it was Rangers. Did you say it was Hallender? It was him. It was grappling with Porteous. Porteous fell over the Hibs, whoever the Hibs player was at the same time. And he was the strongest out of the three, and he put the ball in the net. So God knows what the referee's saying. I don't know. I can't say anything about it, Gav. I don't know.
Dave, your reaction and your thoughts on it being disallowed?
Well, for all the line of duty fans out there, this is corruption at the highest order. We have bent referees.
How long have you been waiting for this?
Who's the SFA? Who's the SFA ref chief?
Exactly, they must be weeded out. There is no other explanation for why that was a foul other than pure and utter corruption. End of. Goal. The fact it was Porteous as well. I've got a Rangers mate who was like absolutely buzzing because he was like, that was a perfectly good goal, and two, get it up easy because it was Porteous and he's a wee rat. And I was like, fuck you. I just hate them, mate. Can we go on to the second goal so we can move on to Stranraer?
Craig, it's frustrating when you hear that Dave's best Rangers mates, because he's in with them. They're saying it was a goal as well. It's just even more frustrating, isn't it?
It's when are we going to? Not even us, right? This isn't even a Hibs issue. This is a Dundee United, Aberdeen, Hearts, Kilmarnock Livingston issue. Like, when are we going to start getting the benefit of the doubt of these decisions against Rangers and Celtic? Because you can bracket the two of them in. It's what more can you say? Like, it's just it's just an accepted practice that and it's not even as if they had the excuse of, like, see, if you're in the environment of 50,000 fans screaming foul, like, you can understand psychologically, you'd be like, it must be a foul. But when the stadium's empty and he's looking right at it, then I'm sorry, but if that's a foul, like you said earlier on, Stuart, we might as well turn the lights off and
let Celtic and Rangers play. Huh?
No, McGregor did, but McGregor moans for everything.
He claims for everything, so just ignore him.
To be expected.
Yeah.
But
Alan McGregor, man, the biggest bellend in Scottish football.
Aye, correct.
But
Whitter57 on Twitch says that I'd never heard it because I was probably shouting like a banshee in here. But even he says that the Rangers TV said it was a goal.
Jeez.
That's how bad it was.
Because
they're the biased bastards.
Well, they had Kevin Thompson saying "we" and "us" every 2 seconds. So
I can.
Anyway, touchy subject. So let's not go into it.
So let's have like say Cadden. I thought Cadden done really well. I'll get your thoughts on him in a second. He'd been on as a sub down the right hand side, getting down that right hand side quite a bit. Was holding up the ball there, plays it back to McGinn, who hits it first time, whips in the cross. Nisbet with a looping header. Dave, you've been wanting to talk about this one, so your thoughts on the goal?
It was a good goal, good finish for Nisbet, and then that should have been 2 each, an opportunity to make them shite themselves, bring David Gray off the bench. It's going to happen again. 3-2 David Gray, it's going to happen. They would have thought in their head. I mean, is there any of them still there? So they probably wouldn't have thought in their head.
Tav is suspended. He's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's still there.
He's the only one, I think.
I would have believed, everybody sitting in the house on their laptops and that would have believed that it was possible. The bookies would have made some money because I would have been straight on for him next goal. Well, it never happened because it was only 2-1. So, but yeah, back to the question. Good goal by Nisbet.
Craig, I mean, we spoke about this improving sort of the better performance towards the end of the second half. Chris Cadden was definitely a big part of that, wasn't he?
And I think he's benefited for being taken out of the team. Obviously, he's the same with Jackson Irvine. They hadn't had a lot of football before they signed due to COVID and whatever else. But I think he'll be a big player for us next season. There's definitely a player in there.
Stuart, your thoughts on the goal? And I mean, Nisbet, he's been a bit start-stop with goals. Could this be him getting back in form? Get kind of like a goal does a striker so much confidence. Could this be him scoring and getting going again for the right time of the season?
Yeah, I think it is. Took it well, and it's good to see him scoring against the Old Firm. And hopefully he'll kick on. Well, we're getting, that's him and Doidge scoring. So hopefully the two of them maybe can score in the same game. And when we're needing it. But no, it was good to see the young man score. I like him, and he took it well. And it's good to get one past that McGregor. It was good.
Yeah, should have been 2, like we said, but disappointing 2-1. Like I say, a couple of chances that kind of went on. You could see Hibs were kind of trying to push for the goal. Rangers, a good defence at the end of the day. Hard to break down when they're sitting on a lead. Boyle had a couple of chances. One in particular where I remember he kind of done well, to get to the byline. And I don't know if he just ran out of energy or something. And he just a flat cross. It didn't even beat the first man. I remember I saw going nuts because it was a great opportunity. But like I say, it was good to see that we're at least getting those opportunities, and it's about sort of building on that. So I mean, we've spoke about the next bit was obviously about Rangers and how we can approach those games. We've kind of spoke about that. But yeah, I mean, so I guess Dave, what would you do differently next time in terms of playing Rangers? Was the only other question I had there.
Just to be fair, I think the way we performed was fine apart from the first 20. So it was like we came out the first 20 and we were maybe happy just to stay in the game until as long as we can and maybe nick something on a break or I don't know. Which again, I understand the logic and it's fine, but see when you're pushing for third and you're at that point where like a point or a win, it just felt like a free hit with Rangers there. and we didn't. I don't think we approached it as a free hit.
Especially when Aberdeen won, Dave.
Yeah.
That was the thing. You know, if it was the same game, if we were playing the same day, and we didn't know what the other team, how they were getting on, the players didn't, but they knew that they won. They got 3 points, and we had, as you say, free hit because we had to go for it. We didn't want to lose it, you know, down on 3 points. Even a draw would have helped.
Yeah. Alistair Taylor asking on that. Obviously, that's Aberdeen now after beating St Johnstone, 4 points behind us. So he's asked, 4 points ahead of the Sheepshaggers with 4 games to go. Worried or mildly complacent about finishing third? Craig, are you still confident that it's still going to be a job done quite easily?
Aberdeen won't be near us come the end of the season. I see us comfortably finishing in third place.
So they are, right? But at the same time, it's like, I know that, see when you say all this type of stuff, it does come back to bite you in the arse. And I've just got a fucking feeling, I am genuinely confident, because I think we just need to win and then they get beaten, and what's that?
Aberdeen have scored 3 goals in 12 games. They are fucking humpty. They will not finish third.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well, but I'm going to let Craig say all that, this part about Aberdeen.
Who have we got? Who's our? Because we've got 3 games at home, don't we?
Yeah.
Who's the away game?
Livy, St Johnstone. We're away to Aberdeen, and then we're
right. Oh, right, okay. I see us, because soon enough, like St Johnstone have got nothing to play for, right? Nothing to play for. We should be going and taking the game to them. There's 3 points.
St Johnstone are a pain in the arse, mate. You can't just.
I know they're a pain in the arse for us, but
we've got about 11 bogey teams, mate, in that league.
You're right. And we're playing 2. At least we're playing 2 of them.
If you think about Aberdeen, you get 4 points. What is it? 4 points. Then you get 4 points for 3 games because they're not going to beat Celtic and they're not going to beat Rangers. So then that leaves 4 points for 2 games. So then, because they're not going to beat us. And Livingston have already beaten them this season. They've got Livingston in the cup. Like, no, sorry, but I'm not having it. I'm not having the bedwetters.
I don't think MD's wet in the bed.
No, I don't mean us. I mean just like when you see it online. Like as soon as you seen on Saturday, like scrolling through my timeline, it's like, oh fuck, Aberdeen have scored. So what? Fuck them.
I still think that we're 4 points ahead, but we're 10 goals in front of them, a goal difference.
So that's almost
that's like 5 points. It's like 5 points. Right. And I think, I said last week, I think next week, because they're playing Celtic, I think if we win next week, that'll be it. That'll be a start.
Exactly. And then they'll need
7 points. I can't see them beating Celtic.
They'll need 7 points for 3 games, and it's not happening. There's no.
We just need to draw with them.
We're not going to go winless throughout these final 4 games now of the season. No, we're not. Like we're not. We've not went on a run. Have we went on a run in more than 4 games without a win?
There's a cup game, this Ross County game, and the Livingston game.
Not counting league.
But I don't know if there's on the 4th one around that. Did we draw with Kilmarnock? Did we beat Kilmarnock? We beat Kilmarnock.
Solely. Like even then, like a couple of draws and we'll be golden. Like, nah, sorry, I'm not having it. Aberdeen are fucking shite, and they will not beat us. They will not finish above us.
I'm sticking my neck out. I'll be done by next week.
And if
next game in the league.
If Hibs do not end this season in 3rd place, I will do a forfeit, of which the listeners and subscribers on Twitch or whatever can nominate.
I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably just pick it and I'll make it horrendous.
We'll do the best 4 ideas and we'll put it to a vote, and I will do it if Hibs don't finish 3rd.
Yeah.
I get to shave your head.
I'm straight up thinking Bath with a tin of baked, like fully baked beans, because it's shite to lie in a bath with baked beans, right? But it's also a bastard when you get out it, and then it's no funny anymore, and you've got to get rid of the baked beans.
Well, it wouldn't be my bath; it would need to be somebody else's bath.
No, it'd be your bath.
Your bath,
not my bath. Your bath.
Your idea. Your bath.
Are you not confident?
No, I'm very confident.
Well, it's your bath then.
I'll even get a bath for a skip and do it in the middle of the street.
Deal. That can be in my street if you want. Then I want to see it.
It's not going to be a pretty sight, that.
Like we say, Stranraer next in the cup, and then Livingston at home on the Wednesday night, and then the Saturday the 1st of May, St Johnstone at home. So 2 home games off the back of the cup game. So I'd like to think that we'll get enough points out of those 2 home games to then be far enough away and comfortably away for Aberdeen going into the Aberdeen game. But like I say, we'll see how it goes. So a big few weeks coming up, and like I say, I'm confident as well, but at the same time it's Hibs, so let's not get carried away. So we do have a question here from let me find it. Whiter57 saying, pity the midfield aren't scoring, but dare we say that will come. Speaking of which, this might go wrong. I have a clip here of myself speaking to Jack Ross about Kyle Magennis and goals from midfield. So hopefully this works and I can click on the clip and it'll play it now. So I'll cut over to that and then we'll have a chat about it off the back of it. Something you spoke about at the AGM yourself was sort of areas you're looking to strengthen. You mentioned about potentially more goals from midfield, but you were hopeful that Magennis could potentially add that. Are you hopeful that his issues that kind of like obviously he's been out the team a bit are behind him? And is it maybe next season before we'll sort of see the best of him?
Yeah, I mean, there's different paths to that. I think first of all, we really keen to bring him into the club. But we also accepted at that point that this season was not necessarily going to be the one that would he should be judged on, because he was coming back from a serious knee injury. He tended to pick up 1 or 2 niggles in the aftermath of that. He's also been unfortunate enough to have COVID through the course of the last wee while as well, which ruled him out for a period. So it's been stop-start for him, but first of all, he's a really, really good player who I think a huge amount of. That's why I was so desperate to bring him here. And he's been the last probably 2.5 weeks in training has been very, very good, really good. I thought he was good when he came on against Queen of the South. And I think he can look forward to hopefully contributing in this last part of the season. That'll give him the platform then to really make that significant impact, I think, from early next season.
Right. Cheers, Jack.
Thank you.
So that looked to have worked. Yes, that's good. We can do that more going forward. So yeah, Jack Ross speaking there about Kyle Magennis and goals from midfield in general and things. But yeah, Craig, your thoughts on him saying about Kyle Magennis, him sort of signing him, knowing that this season would be the season he's not being judged on?
I think that we all knew that when he signed. So obviously, I think was it an ACL he had?
Yeah.
Which is obviously one of the worst injuries you can get as a professional football player. So he has been really stop-start. Obviously, like Jack says there, he's had COVID and all of that. He's been in and out. So I would actually like to see him get a game over Irvine.
Interesting.
I would, especially if Magennis is on a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
And Irvine's twiddling his thumbs about signing beyond the summer. I would like to get Magennis in and let Magennis get a wee run in the team. Let's see what he can really bring to us. Because Stephen seems to have it in his head that he's a winger. But I don't think. I think
he's essential.
But I think he's very much in the McGinn style. Not as effective as McGinn, obviously, right now. But McGinn now wasn't the McGinn when he first came to Hibs either. But there's definitely a sort of box to box midfielder in there, and I would like to see him get a shot over Irvine, who I think's been absolutely anonymous for a wee while now.
Stuart, I mean, Jack Ross said about how he's been, looking really good in the last 2 weeks in training, and he's obviously been coming off the bench and getting more minutes. Do you think we could see him play quite a big part between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, well, I like listening to the gaffer saying, talking like that. I've got to say that's one thing Jack Ross is good about is taking care of the players. Because there's been 2 or 3 that they've been coming back, even with Nisbet, Porteous with their transfers. He doesn't just put them back in and hope that they hit the ground running again. He just takes their time, and he's doing that with young Magennis. And I'm pleased at what I've seen, and I hope the young lad can, he can start playing well as well. But Craig's right, give him a wee go, because if what's his name's no one to sign, and now he's not really sure, Jackson Irvine. Why not bring him on for the last 25 minutes when Magennis is getting a bit tired because he's not had the full 90? Do it the other way about. and see what he can give to the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it'd be really interesting, especially with the Scottish Cup game. I'd love to see him start Saturday, which I know we're going to talk about in a sec, and have somebody like Irvine come off the bench with a point to prove that he should be starting rather than the other way about. But I mean, Dave, he scored 8 goals in 107 appearances for St Mirren. Still only 22. Obviously, this is kind of the way Jack Ross is going to go, wanting to play him. Is it simple as saying once he's fit, he's going to be the answer in terms of goals from midfield?
Yeah, well, if that's what Jack Ross is thinking, then aye. But personally, like, obviously that's not a prolific record at St Mirren. Obviously he's playing a better team than now. But goals from midfield, if you're saying he's going to score, what is it, 1 in 10, then he's only going to get a bag 3 or 4 a season. It's probably, obviously depends where he's playing. Well, the only really goal scoring midfielder we've had in the last few years is Malin, and we've shipped him out. So it's kind of ironic, isn't it? But I hope so, because I think I completely agree with everything that Jack Ross is saying. It's definitely something that we need.
Scotland as well. He's chipped in with like 7 goals this last season, but I'm still not ready to talk about Scotland not being a house player at the moment. Let's have a look. So the rest of the team, I can kind of run through. The midfielders at the moment. Dre Wright has scored 1 goal this season. Joe Newell has scored 1 goal this season. Gogic has scored 3 in his entire career. Hallberg has 1. Jackson Irvine has none. Although Jackson Irvine did go through a spell where at Burton Albion he scored 11 goals in 49 games. So quite a good return from midfield. In terms of the rest of the midfielders that are already there, Craig, could you see any of them stepping up and adding goals to their game? Kind of adapting their game to kind of score more? I know we've seen Newell attempt a few here and there.
I think if any, it would be Figno, because he's so composed when he's on the ball, and he's so good with the ball at his feet. But other than that, I don't see it. The only one would be Scott Allen, who's obviously probably not going to play for Hibs again.
No, stop it. Just did that to get me panicking. Stuart, where do you see the goals coming from in terms of other than the forward line?
Well, I do think that Scott Allen will be back. I watched him against Morton for Inverness, and he was what he got in the ball all the time. You could see him; he was doing a lot of running where he wasn't doing it at Hibs because he wasn't so fit. He is wanting to build his 90 minutes, even though he got taken off probably 70 odd minutes, I think it was, last week. But he, plays some lovely balls. I still think that he'll be back and he'll chip in with a couple of goals as well.
Yeah, I think if it's quite exciting in terms of looking towards next season. The thought of Magennis being fully up and running. I know Jack Ross said he's hopeful that he can play a part this season, that clip there, but the thought of him being fully up and running, Scott Allen game time at Inverness, and then a full pre-season under his belt, if he's still around, if Jackson Irvine's still there, it does sound a bit more encouraging, and that would have a lot less work to do in the transfer window because the players are already there. It's just if they are going to be there, like say if Allen does stick around or goes out on loan or gets sold, or whether Magennis is fit or whether Irvine signs a new deal. So it's a bit of uncertainty, but I think there's really exciting things if those sort of players stick around. And one of the things which I don't really have a good segue for this. One of the things that I also spoke to Jack Ross about, we spoke a bit about this last week, was the state of the pitch. I think he got annoyed with me saying frustration with the pitch. I think it's more they've had to adapt the way they play because of it. So here's Jack Ross speaking about the pitch and obviously the news from the AGM that they're looking to upgrade the pitch. Hey Jack, speaking of fans obviously having an effect on home games and stuff, I know in the past you've spoke about frustrations with Easter Road's pitch and having to sort of change the way you play. Ron Gordon speaking about upgrading the pitch and having a consistency with that at HDC. How vital could that be towards getting sort of some consistency at Easter Road?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just trying to better the club all the time and push our standards as a club, but also push the standards as a team. And I think every single manager in the league would want the best playing surface available to them. I've said frequently that there's no criticism at Colin or groundsman because there's been no resources spent on the pitch in the past year, so that has made it difficult to keep the pitch to a good standard. This time period, I think the last home game we had was Motherwell, so we don't play at home again until Livingston, and that hopefully has helped it a little bit. But the truth is, it's not going to improve significantly until the work's done over the summer. And that, running in alignment with improving a couple of the pitches at training ground, should mean that overall as a club we feel as if we're in a stronger position again standard wise, and hopefully see the benefit of that on pitch in a match day as well.
The most important part. Like,
yeah, the audio's back on. So yes, so Jack Ross speaking about the pitch there. Good to kind of hear that I'm going into the details about the, being honest about the sort of the people being furloughed and not being able to keep up to the way it should be. But even then, an upgraded pitch. Craig, do you think it could play a part in we spoke about this last week, but do you think it could play a part in the performances improving? I know the home form's not been great. It's still been good, but not as good as the away form. Do you think we could a consistent pitch at HTC and at Easter Road could help performances?
100%. I mean, you only need to all the best teams, all the teams that play the best football in the world, right? When do you ever see them playing on a shite bobbly pitch? You didn't. Like, I know the money's different level, but Premier League, even Championship, majority of grounds pitches are immaculate. I know that Ibrox's pitches looked a bit shaky at times this season as well. But there's nothing worse than, can you want to go to a game and first game of the season you want to be rocking up for the grass to be bright, almost like the light bouncing off the pitch, and right now it's just like it's grey, like it looks horrible, and it's so hard. I mean, we all know playing on public parks and whatnot is burns, right? I don't know if did you just play in the Red Ash in that back in the day, Stu?
No, it was grass. I did two in Glasgow, but no in Edinburgh.
But no, it's so hard to play decent football on a bobbly, bouncing park with that. It's uneven with the grass. It's clumps of mud everywhere. It's just horrible. So
see,
definitely.
Craig, can I say, right? You're talking about Premier. I've got Sky Sports News and I'm watching it now, right? Wimbledon, they just went over to, and I've just went over to Rotherham. Now, is that Championship?
League One.
Right, League One. Right, League One. And you should see the parks. Absolute, they're like Highbury. I'm saying Highbury, Chris. That's gone back. Okay, Emirates. It's looking as good as Emirates, and actually, so that's how much money is down south. Mm-hmm. And I said this last week, and I don't know if you know, Craig. I was asking the boys, have Hibs got one of these the glow lights that help the grass grow in the 6-yard box where a lot of the footballs, where a lot of the players are playing. So we've not got that. That's something that we have to, we have to put money in towards these things like that, because the park is shit. And these teams away down south like that and third tier are playing in fantastic parks and they get good football. We can't play like that up here.
Yeah.
And then we've got 3 teams that play in plastic.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Hamilton game at home. I was speaking to Jack Ross after the game, and he was sort of saying about how they had to adapt the way they played, and they had to kind of play long balls up to the corners and things and try and because of the pitch. So I think and I think having the same pitch East HTC, so you can work on a game plan, play the ball, how it's going to roll, and then doing the same thing at Easter Road, it'd be massive. I think that's why Livingston have had a good home record. Yeah, it's a plastic pitch, but it's also the pitch they train on every day. They know it
every
inside
day.
Out. So aye. But yeah, I mean, and Dave, I mean, pitch is great, but I think will fans help, or are we miserable as home fans and we don't help?
No, I think fans will help. I think we are at Easter Road, right? Like, we can get obviously a bit nippy and a bit on top of the team. We've seen it in previous years.
We get a bit nervous, Nellies.
Yes, we can, but that the club has done that to us. So the club needs to accept that to get us to change, they need to give us something. That's as simple as that. So that onus is on them to fix that. But we're not turning up being like, well, I'm going to be negative today. Well, I certainly didn't. You hear the few shouts and that for folk that are just never happy. But they're never going to change, so it doesn't matter. They add to the atmosphere.
So let's have a. It's like say exciting that we spoke. I don't think this will only be on the podcast audio. This won't be on the live audio. Because audio errors. But yeah, we spoke about the excitement, about how exciting it was to light at the end of the tunnel. Things almost like potentially going in the right direction. So hopefully fans back in August. Brand new pitch. Really exciting times to come. Anyway, let's finish up with the Scottish Cup preview. Obviously, Stranraer. I'll get the wee match preview graphic up here. So yes, Stranraer, I've got a couple of details about them. Obviously, they're sitting 5th in League 2 at the moment, 22 points from 15 games, 6 wins. And in the last 2 games, they lost to Elgin City away and Edinburgh City at home. And they reached this round of the Cup with a 3-1 win over Brora Rangers after extra time. They were actually 1-0 down until the 88th minute. Got a late equaliser and then scored 2 in extra time. And players... Thomas Orr is their top goal scorer with 6 goals, and their second top goal scorer is 36-year-old Darryl Duffy. There you go, still going. Craig, a blast from fast Darryl Duffy. He was a tremendous Hibs player, wasn't he?
Who's that, me?
It was to Craig, but if you want to take it.
No. No.
I was being sarcastic. He was not very good at Hibs.
I'm pretty sure they done a thing on A View for the Terrace with Darryl Duffy at the end. One time they were talking about his career and all that, and how he's still playing in that. So fair play to him for still kicking a ball. But we should beat Stranraer. No worries. I'd be majorly surprised if there was any upset for this game.
If we don't take 4 or 5 off of them, I'll be annoyed.
Oh, no, never mind that, Stuart. A 1-0 win, get your name the next round.
No, I'm sorry, but if we don't take 4 or 5 off of them, I'll be cursing. And I'll tell you now, we will take 4 or 5 off them. And I'll take a fiver bet with you all. We'll take 4 or 5 off of them.
I hope we done it just so you see you get angry. Honestly,
you didn't need any more fivers. Fucking stop trying to take mine.
Exactly. Needs to burn them to give Paddy a heat in the bar.
Last week's podcast, we were very sort of complimenting Hibs in the second half of the Scottish Cup performance against Queen of the South. Obviously the main thing is, like you've sort of said, is a professional job getting to the next round of the Cup. But there is a real opportunity to play some exciting football, isn't there?
If we think our pitch is shite, God knows what Stranraer's pitch is going to be in.
Good point.
That's Stranraer's. It's a nice wee ground actually. But they gave me nightmares for when they beat us in the first division the last time.
No chance.
So I'll take 78th minute own goal for a set piece. Couldn't care. Get your name in the hat for the next round. That's all that matters.
No.
Alistair Taylor's here saying on YouTube 6-0 minimum, so he's on with Stuart with that.
Well done, Alistair Tate. Well done, son. Well done. Yep.
What does genuinely right? What does Skelpin, a mid-table League 2 team, do? Nothing.
I'll tell you what it does. It gives whoever scores goals, because it doesn't matter who. You played football as well, Craig. When you hit the back of the net, I couldn't care who you're playing against. You feel good. And we need our centre forwards. I want Nisbet to get, if he'll be playing a hattie. Get him a wee hat-trick. Doidge to get a couple. Maybe, Boyle to score 1 or 2. I want my players. It's kind of what we just spoke about. Dave's talking about going to Ibrox and saying, or we're just going to be negative and, if we can keep it down. That's the mentality sometimes. Mentality is go to a team like Stranraer and take 6, 7, 8 off of them, and then he stop until the referee in the middle blows the whistle. Because this going for a 1-0 or a 2-0 against a shitty team doesn't work for me. And that's the mentality I want at Hibs. I didn't want this kind of way back, and I keep on saying it, away back to fucking 70s. They never stopped.
During the war.
They were all fighting for, during the war.
Back when I watched the Tornadoes.
But they were all fighting for a goal. They wouldn't pass it because they were going to score a hat-trick.
No, I take your point.
Like Martin Boyle.
I take your point.
Go for the jugular.
Right.
Then he stopped.
I think
And that's what I want.
Nini's are arguing me.
Well, right, there you go. Sorry.
Join us next week as Stuart discusses the shock upset as Stranraer knock us out the cup.
I'm telling you, there is not going to be a chance in hell. I'm telling you.
That'd be funny. I think I'd play that clip of him saying about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Yeah. Anyway, that's not going to happen. We're going to get into the next round of the cup. Motherwell and Morton, I think it is after that, which we spoke about last week. So yeah, Dave, you're confident of getting through this round, and like we said, is there an opportunity to play some exciting football again?
Yeah, and I'd probably start Magennis. Let him get some games in his belt, especially if he's going to be playing a part in the last 4 games. We probably need to use the squad and get some minutes in folk, because you never know when they're going to be needed, and if they've not played in weeks and that, then it's not going to be handy. So yeah, use the cup for that, because I expect us to beat Stranraer and have that game against Motherwell or Greenock, Morton, whoever wins out of them two. Yeah. But yeah,
I'd be starting Kyle Magennis, and I'd say prove to me that I should be taking you off, because the job's done after 60-70 minutes, and starting you on Wednesday night against Livingston. Give him that kind of carrot in front of him. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll be back to look back to that game and look ahead to the Livingston game. Sunday maybe we do it after the game. I don't know. I'm not making any promises. We'll have a look at the schedule and figure it out. See when everyone can do. But yeah. So what's your guys' plans for the rest of the evening then? We're actually looking to finish in time for the Champions League, which we meant to do last week, but went over by like an hour talking about the AGM. Dave, your plans for tonight?
I'm going to go and get my dinner, because I just came in straight from work and sat down here, because like commitments like up here. I've changed by food would have been up here, but so get my dinner and then watch some of the football probably. Hope probably PSG Bayern, because it was quite exciting last week.
Yeah, the first one was brilliant. Yeah, so I think that again.
Hope for that. I've got a £5 free bet on Sky, and I've stuck it on Muller to score a header, because it was 20-1. I thought it was quite high. Just a fiver free bet. It's free bet anyway.
Well, Mbappe's got a fresh fade as well. He's in the mood, like.
Craig, your plans for the night? I guess you've already got on.
We'll just sit and watch this. Watch the absolute elite level football players strut their stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's
on a nice park.
Oh, look at that pitch, man! It's. Tell you what, I think the Ultras have done a display in the PSG, unless they've coloured all the seats in. But I don't ever remember it looking like that.
Stuart, your plans for the night?
I'm just putting BT on, and I'm going to be watching Bayern PSG, definite, because that was a fantastic game last week.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I think, what's the score on? I didn't even check what the.
It's 3-2 in aggregate to PSG.
3-2. I think Bayern, even though PSG are good, I think Bayern always come good, and I think Bayern will beat them and put them out. Aye.
Nah, this is PSG's year I think.
Germans are always
everyone will be listening to the
strong,
podcast of this, and this game will already be over and know whether these are right or wrong. So we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's my plan for tonight. I've actually had quite a busy day. I've been off on holiday all week, and I've not really done much.
Again, nobody's asked you what you're doing. Sorry,
I know.
Gav.
No, so I'm going to talk about the end, because
just going to tell us.
I've installed a washing machine today. I have descaled and rescaled a window and washed a window, and I've washed the oven today. I've had a nice busy day, and I've also sat about and done nothing. So it's been a good day.
What did you have for your tea though? That's the most important thing.
So I didn't have a takeaway over the weekend. I know Dave's going to moan at me because we're trying to be healthy, but I'm going to have I think it's a Domino's or Papa John's. I said to Becca, surprised me before I headed up to the.
Well, you enjoy, mate. 2 for Tuesdays, though, so I'd be a bit disappointed if you got a Papa John's.
They do it as well.
Oh, did they?
Well, I had a special fish supper for the one at just at Hart Hill. Can they be Italian, boy? It's like going back to 1980. Oh, it's unbelievable, man.
We've not got chauffeurs that we can send out for our dinner, Stuart. So
no, I was out that way. I didn't get a chauffeur. I was out that way. I was driving, mate. It's all right.
Yeah.
So that's what I had.
Good stuff.
Tell you
like
what,
I say-
right? Just as we finish up, I would love to see how that Choupo-Moting agent has conversations with clubs. How the fuck has he went from Stoke to PSG then to Bayern Munich?
Don't know.
I
Good
know.
agent.
Mental. Absolutely
Talking about agents, who's agent Burnley? Who's McBurney's agent? They're
Tell you
planning
what,
on
that
going
was-
for 15 million.
That was a conversation on Sports Sound on Saturday on Open All Mics, and literally they were all like, "How?" Like Michael Stewart was like, he was like, "So if I look at a player and I'm thinking, right, he maybe doesn't give me physicality, but does he give me technique? No. Does he give me aerial ability? No. Has he got a great first touch? No. Has he got pace? No. Like, surely these elite level coaches are missing something that we are seeing something that us, the general plebs, didn't see.
We can't see it. I don't, in his Scottish day, but I just can't see him. I didn't like seeing him in a Scottish jersey. Sorry, but.
Speaking of Sports Sound, I don't know if I told you, but last week I was actually. We'll finish up there, folks. Follow us at HFC Talk. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, all that nonsense. Thanks for joining us live, everyone who did. Thanks for listening to the podcast audio as well. Guys, enjoy the rest of your night.